Right now, in this very moment, you are sitting with the most powerful force in the universe. That force is not outside of you. It's not in some distant heaven or in some book or in some other person. That force is you. You are God, expressing itself in human form. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, that can't be right. I'm just me. I have problems. I make mistakes. I get angry and frustrated and scared. But that's exactly the point. The divine doesn't express itself as perfection in human form. It expresses itself as experience, as growth, as the beautiful, messy, wonderful process of becoming. You see, when we say you are God, we're not talking about some ego trip. We're not saying you should go around demanding worship or thinking you're better than anyone else. What we're saying is that the same creative intelligence that moves the planets, that grows the trees, that beats your heart without you having to think about it, that same intelligence is what you are made of. You are not separate from it. You are not separate from it. You are it. Think about this for a moment. Your heart beats about 100,000 times every single day without you having to remember to make it beat. Your body is healing cuts and fighting off infections and creating new cells every second of every day without you having to manage any of it. Your hair grows, your nails grow, your food gets digested. All of this happens through an intelligence that is beyond your conscious mind. And yet it's not separate from you. It is you. This is the God that you are. Not some old man sitting on a throne somewhere judging you. Not some distant force that you have to beg and plead with. But the very life force that is animating you right now as you read these words. The problem is most of us have been taught to look for God outside of ourselves. We've been taught that we're sinners, that we're not worthy, that we need someone or something else to save us. We've been taught to fear God instead of recognizing that we are expressions of God. But what if I told you that every single thing you've ever wanted to create in your life, every dream you've ever had, every goal you've ever set, what if I told you that the same power that created the universe is available to you right now to create whatever you want? You might say, well, if I'm God, why isn't my life perfect? Why do I have problems? Why don't I have everything I want? And that's a fair question. But here's the thing, you do have everything you need. You just haven't learned to use it yet. You see, being God doesn't mean you automatically know how to use your godly powers. Just like being born with legs doesn't mean you automatically know how to walk. You have to learn. You have to practice. You have to understand how it works. And the way it works is through your thoughts, through your beliefs, through your consciousness. You are literally creating your reality with your mind every single moment of every single day. Now, I'm not talking about some magical thinking where you just wish for something and it appears. I'm talking about understanding that your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. When you change how you think, when you change what you believe about yourself and about life, your outer circumstances begin to change to match your new inner reality. This is not theory. This is not philosophy. This is practical, everyday wisdom that you can use right now to transform your life. Let me tell you about a woman I once knew who understood this principle. She had been struggling financially for years. She would say things like, I never have enough money, and rich people are greedy, and money doesn't grow on trees. And guess what? Her life reflected exactly what she believed. She was always struggling, always worried about money, always feeling like she didn't have enough. But then she started to understand that she was creating her financial situation with her thoughts and beliefs. She started to change how she thought about money. Instead of saying, I never have enough, she started saying, I always have exactly what I need. Instead of believing that rich people were greedy, she started to believe that having money allowed her to help more people. Instead of thinking that money was scarce, she started to see abundance everywhere. And slowly, gradually, her financial situation began to improve. Not because she won the lottery or because someone gave her money, but because she changed her relationship with money. She started making better decisions. She started noticing opportunities that were always there, but that she had been blind to before. She started attracting people and situations that supported her new beliefs about abundance. This is how it works. This is how you use your godly power, not by waving a magic wand, but by changing your consciousness. But here's what's really important to understand. You're already using this power. You're already creating your reality with your thoughts and beliefs. The question is not whether you're doing it. The question is whether you're doing it consciously or unconsciously. Most people are creating unconsciously. They're running old programs, old beliefs that were given to them by their parents or their teachers or their society. They're living their lives on autopilot, wondering why nothing ever changes. But you don't have to do that. You can wake up. You can become conscious of the power you have. You can start creating your life deliberately instead of accidentally. And when you do that, when you really understand that you are the creative force in your own life, everything changes. You stop being a victim of circumstances. You stop blaming other people for your problems. You stop waiting for someone else to save you or fix you or make you happy. You realize that you are the author of your own story. You are the artist painting the canvas of your life. You are the director of your own movie. Now this might feel scary at first, because if you're responsible for creating your reality, that means you're responsible for everything that's happened to you. And that can feel overwhelming. But here's what I want you to understand. Being responsible doesn't mean being to blame. It doesn't mean you consciously chose every difficult thing that's ever happened to you. What it means is that you have the power to choose how you respond to what happens to you, and in that response, you create your future. You see, God doesn't make mistakes. Everything that happens in your life, even the difficult things, even the painful things, is an opportunity for growth, for learning, for becoming more of who you really are. Think about the most difficult period of your life. I'll bet if you look back at it now, you can see how that experience taught you something important, how it made you stronger or more compassionate, or helped you develop a skill or quality that you now value. That's not an accident. That's the intelligence of the universe working through your life to help you grow and evolve. And you are not separate from that intelligence. You are that intelligence. This means that you can trust yourself. You can trust the process of your life. Even when things don't make sense, even when things are difficult, you can trust that there's a larger purpose at work. But trusting doesn't mean being passive. It doesn't mean just sitting back and waiting for things to happen to you. It means understanding that you are in a partnership with the universe. You are co-creating your life with the divine intelligence that you are. Your job is to get clear about what you want to create, to align your thoughts and beliefs with your desires, to take inspired action when you feel called to do so, to stay open to possibilities you might not have considered. The universe's job is to orchestrate the details, to bring you the people and opportunities and resources you need to manifest your dreams. But here's the key. You have to believe you deserve what you want. You have to believe it's possible for you, because if you don't believe it, you'll sabotage it before it can manifest. So many people pray for things, set goals for things, work hard for things, but they don't really believe they can have them. They have a part of their mind that says, who am I to want this? People like me don't get to have things like this. But people like you do get to have things like this, because you are not separate from the power that creates worlds. You are that power in individual expression. You came here to this earth plane not to suffer, not to struggle, not to prove your worth. You came here to experience the joy of creating, of expressing, of becoming. You came here to remember who you really are. And who you really are is magnificent. You are a unique expression of the divine. There has never been anyone exactly like you before, and there will never be anyone exactly like you again. You have gifts and talents and perspectives that only you can bring to the world. But so many of us spend our lives trying to be someone else, trying to live up to other people's expectations, trying to fit into boxes that were never meant for us. Stop doing that. Stop trying to be anyone other than who you are. The world needs who you are, not who you think you should be. When you really get this, when you really understand that you are a unique and necessary expression of the divine, you stop worrying so much about what other people think. You stop needing their approval to feel good about yourself. You start making decisions based on what feels right to you, not on what looks good to other people. You start following your own inner guidance instead of following the crowd. And that's when your life really begins to transform. That's when you start living as the God that you are, instead of as the small, limited person you thought you were. Now let me be clear about something. When I say you are God, I'm not saying you're the only God. I'm saying we're all God. Every person you meet, every person you see, every person you interact with is also a divine expression. They just might not know it yet. This understanding changes how you relate to other people. Instead of seeing them as separate from you, as competitors or enemies or obstacles, you start seeing them as other expressions of the same divine intelligence that you are. You start treating them with the respect and love that you would want to be treated with. Not because you have to, not because it's the right thing to do, but because you recognize that there really is no them. There's only us. There's only the one divine consciousness expressing itself in billions of different ways. This doesn't mean you become a doormat. It doesn't mean you let people walk all over you. What it means is that you respond to conflict and difficulty from a place of understanding rather than from a place of fear or anger. When someone is mean to you, instead of getting defensive or attacking back, you recognize that their behavior is coming from their own pain, their own forgetting of who they really are. You respond with compassion instead of judgment. When someone disagrees with you, instead of needing to prove you're right, you get curious about their perspective. You recognize that they might be seeing something you can't see from where you're standing. This doesn't mean you don't have opinions or preferences. It doesn't mean you don't stand up for what you believe in. What it means is that you hold your opinions lightly. You're willing to be wrong. You're willing to change your mind when you're presented with new information because you understand that you don't know everything. Even though you are God in human form, and human form comes with limitations. You see through human eyes. You think with a human brain. You experience life through human senses. But here's what's beautiful about that. Those limitations aren't problems to be solved. They're part of the experience you came here to have. You came here to experience what it's like to be infinite consciousness in finite form. You came here to experience the joy of learning, of growing, of discovering new things about yourself and about life. You came here to experience the satisfaction of overcoming challenges, of developing new abilities, of becoming more than you were yesterday. None of that would be possible if you started out perfect and complete. The whole point is the process. The whole point is the becoming. So don't be in such a hurry to have it all figured out. Don't be in such a rush to get to some imaginary finish line where everything is perfect and you never have any more problems. Life is not about reaching a destination. Life is about enjoying the journey. Life is about appreciating where you are right now while also growing toward where you want to be. And where you are right now is exactly where you need to be. I know that might be hard to believe if you're going through a difficult time. I know it might sound like empty spiritual talk if you're facing real challenges. But I'm not saying your problems aren't real or that you shouldn't work to improve your situation. What I'm saying is that even in the midst of your challenges, even in the midst of your problems, you are still a divine being having a human experience. Your problems don't diminish your divinity. Your mistakes don't cancel out your godliness. Your fears and doubts and imperfections don't make you any less of an expression of the divine. In fact, it's often through our problems and challenges that we discover our strength. It's through our mistakes that we learn wisdom. It's through our fears that we develop courage. So don't run from the difficult parts of your life. Don't try to pretend they're not there. Face them with the knowledge that you have within you everything you need to handle whatever comes your way. Because you do. You really do. The same power that created the stars and the planets and the oceans is the power that beats your heart right now. And that power is not just in you, it is you. This means you never have to feel powerless again. You never have to feel like a victim of circumstances beyond your control. You always have the power to choose your response to whatever's happening in your life. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can always control how you think about what happens to you. And how you think about it determines how you feel about it. And how you feel about it determines what you do about it. And what you do about it determines what happens next in your life. This is the circle of creation. This is how you use your godly power in practical, everyday ways. When something happens that you don't like, instead of immediately reacting with anger or fear or frustration, pause, take a breath, ask yourself, how can I think about this situation in a way that serves me? How can I respond to this situation in a way that creates more of what I want in my life? This doesn't mean you pretend everything is wonderful when it's not. It doesn't mean you put on a fake positive attitude. What it means is that you look for the opportunity in every challenge, the lesson in every setback, the gift in every difficult experience. Because there always is one. There's always something you can learn, some way you can grow, some strength you can develop from whatever you're going through. And when you approach your life this way, when you start looking for the good in every situation, you start finding it. Not because you're making it up, but because it was always there. You just weren't looking for it before. This is what it means to live as God in human form. It means taking responsibility for your experience without blaming yourself for your circumstances. It means using your power consciously instead of unconsciously. It means remembering who you really are, even when the world is trying to convince you that you're small and powerless and insignificant. You are not small, you are not powerless, you are not insignificant. You are a walking miracle. You are stardust that learned how to think and feel and love. You are the universe becoming aware of itself through your individual consciousness. And that consciousness is creative. Right now, as you're reading these words, you are creating your future with the thoughts you're thinking and the beliefs you're holding. If you're thinking thoughts of limitation and scarcity and fear, you're creating more limitation and scarcity and fear in your life. If you're thinking thoughts of possibility and abundance and love, you're creating more possibility and abundance and love in your life. It's not magic, it's not wishful thinking, it's the law of consciousness. Your outer world reflects your inner world, always, without exception. This means that if you want to change your life, you have to change your consciousness. You have to change how you think about yourself, how you think about other people, how you think about money, how you think about relationships, how you think about your possibilities. And this is where most people get stuck. They want their outer world to change first, and then they'll change how they think. But it doesn't work that way. You have to change your inner world first, and then your outer world will follow. This requires faith. It requires believing in something you can't yet see. It requires trusting the process even when you don't see immediate results. But you can do this. You can change your consciousness. You can change your beliefs. You can change your thoughts, because you are the thinker of your thoughts. You are the believer of your beliefs. You are the creator of your consciousness. Start today. Start right now. Begin to notice what you're thinking about throughout your day. Begin to notice what beliefs you're operating from. Begin to notice how your thoughts make you feel, and how your feelings influence your actions. When you catch yourself thinking a thought that doesn't serve you, that limits you, that makes you feel bad about yourself or about your life, consciously choose a different thought. Don't argue with the old thought. Don't try to convince yourself it's not true. Just gently redirect your attention to a thought that feels better, that opens up possibilities rather than shutting them down. Do this over and over again throughout your day. Every time you catch yourself thinking a limiting thought, choose a more empowering one instead. At first, this might feel strange or forced. Your mind is used to thinking the old thoughts. It's going to try to go back to them automatically. But with practice, with persistence, you can train your mind to default to thoughts that serve you rather than thoughts that limit you. And as your thinking changes, your feeling will change. As your feelings change, your actions will change. As your actions change, your results will change. As your results change, this is how you use your divine power in practical ways. This is how you create the life you want instead of just accepting whatever life gives you. But remember, You're not trying to control everything. You're not trying to force outcomes. You're not trying to manipulate the universe into giving you what you want. What you're doing is aligning yourself with the flow of life instead of fighting against it. You're cooperating with the creative process instead of resisting it. You're working with the universe instead of working against it. And the universe wants to support you. The universe wants you to succeed, to be happy, to live a fulfilling life. Not because you're special and other people aren't, but because you are an expression of the universe. When you succeed, when you're happy, when you live a fulfilling life, the universe is experiencing success and happiness and fulfillment through you. You are not separate from the universe. You are the universe expressing itself as you. This means that what's good for you is good for the whole. This means that taking care of yourself is not selfish, it's necessary. You can't give what you don't have. You can't love others if you don't love yourself. You can't help others reach their potential if you're not reaching yours. So stop feeling guilty about wanting good things for yourself. Stop apologizing for your dreams and desires. Stop making yourself small to make other people comfortable. You have every right to want a beautiful life. You have every right to pursue your dreams. You have every right to use your talents and abilities to create something meaningful. In fact, it's not just your right, it's your responsibility. You have gifts that the world needs. You have perspectives that no one else has. You have the ability to contribute something unique and valuable to the human experience. But you can only do that if you step into your power. You can only do that if you stop playing small and start living as the magnificent being that you are. This doesn't mean you become arrogant or think you're better than other people. What it means is that you recognize your inherent worth and value. What it means is that you honor the divine intelligence that is expressing itself as your life. When you truly understand that you are God in human form, humility and confidence become the same thing. You're humble because you recognize that your individual ego is just one small expression of something much larger. But you're also confident because you know that you are connected to and supported by the creative power of the universe. This is the balance you want to strike in your life. Humble enough to keep learning, confident enough to keep creating. Humble enough to admit when you're wrong, confident enough to trust your inner guidance. Humble enough to appreciate what you have, confident enough to reach for what you want. And what you want matters. Your dreams are not accidents. Your desires are not random. They are the universe calling you toward your highest expression, toward your greatest contribution, toward your most fulfilling life. Don't ignore them. Don't dismiss them as unrealistic or impractical. Don't let other people talk you out of them because they can't see what you see. Your dreams are sacred. They are messages from the divine part of yourself guiding you toward your purpose, your mission, your reason for being here. Follow them, trust them, take action on them, not because you're guaranteed success, but because the very act of pursuing your dreams changes you. It awakens qualities within you that might otherwise stay dormant. It opens doors that might otherwise stay closed. It connects you with people and opportunities and resources that support your highest good. And even if your dreams don't manifest exactly as you imagine them, even if the path unfolds differently than you expect, you will be changed by the journey. You will become more of who you're meant to be. You will discover capabilities within yourself that you didn't know you had. That's worth any risk. That's worth any temporary failure or setback or disappointment. Because you are here to grow, to evolve, to become. And you can't become more of who you are by playing it safe and staying comfortable. You have to be willing to stretch yourself. You have to be willing to try new things, to go to new places, to meet new people, to take on new challenges. Not because growth is always comfortable, it's not. Not because change is always easy, it's